Hey, hello.
Hey Elvis, how's it going,
Oh,
Elvis?
good. Long time no see.
It's been a while. It's exactly right. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
been
I
a
think.
while. Yeah. I'm still sitting in the same conference room that we met last time.
Oh, really? In
Yeah.
the library? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I usually, so I do have an office in chemical engineering building, but there are a few colleagues there. I feel like this place is easier for me to just work by myself and have meetings. And so every day, for certain slots, I will just go to a library.
Not a bad idea. Also, congrats on the MIT Climate Challenge, getting to the final round. Fantastic.
Yes, thanks about that. And you know, so here's the interesting thing. So actually, the final round will happen one day after I get my marriage certificate.
Oh, wow.
So me and my partner, we went to the Cambridge City Hall to file our intent to marry.
Uh-huh.
And we select a date which none of us has meetings. Happens to be a Wednesday, but I just figure out, because I went to the final. So the next day I have to pitch. Oh my gosh, that's that's interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Well, at least you're not on the honeymoon, so that's kind of nice.
I hope I can have that. I don't know, but it's right now both of us are still, we still have bosses. She's ramping up her PhD. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. So, but let's see.
You have a lot of options, so that's great. You could be like Activate Fellow, which is awesome as well. Yeah, small world. A friend of mine also is in the final round, and yeah, I'd have a phone call with whatever her name is to be as
So,
a ref.
are you familiar with what she's? So there's Activate New York, there's Activate Boston. So you see applying for Activate Boston?
Activate Boston. Yeah.
I see. I applied for the New York one since New York has
Ooh,
the preference for carbon dioxide removal companies. That's
ooh.
because NYSERDA, which is the founding body from New York State, they have a huge focus on carbon right now. So a lot of opportunities related to carbon is in New York compared to Boston.
Well, congrats. Either way, this making to the final round is fantastic.
Yeah,
Uh,
hopefully get that. But we are also waiting for Breakthrough Energy Fellows program, which is,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'm
which
aware
is,
of that too.
yeah.
Look at you
So
being so successful.
yeah,
Congrats.
hopefully get some news. So that's also the reason I didn't apply for any faculty jobs for the past round. I just focused on
I mean,
submitting a lot of grants and applications
honestly, it's
to
probably
those.
better. You can be a multimillionaire really quickly through a company than being a faculty. Things move
Hopefully,
so much faster.
yeah, hopefully, and I still don't give up my faculty dream yet. So
Oh, yeah.
if there are appropriate openings, I plan to apply for the next cycle. So I just keep eye on not traditional McKee or CAME, but the climate school, the sustainability school, and potentially
Yeah.
some business or policy schools if there's
I
good
mean,
intersection.
Always, I have no doubt you'll get something given your success right now. So I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, I will keep you posted. You always have really blind confidence in me. I appreciate that.
I mean, let's put it this way. I've seen a lot of faculty candidates before and also now, and I think you definitely stand out. I think a lot of people come from either one or the other. A lot of academic experience, very little on the startup front, or people who's tough, which is coming from a lot of industry experience, but very little academic background. So and you have really that good balance of both. And now you have startup and industry. So you have a lot of interesting things going on. You have a very unique package. So honestly, I think you have a very unique perspective, which makes you very valuable. So
Yeah, I
anyway,
appreciate.
there's my 2 cents. It's not important because I am nobody. You know, I did also want to tell you something about. Remember back in the day, I told you that there was this EPF for Internal Solutions for Sustainability grant, which was a million Swiss francs.
Yeah.
So I actually made it to the final round also.
Oh,
So
congrats, congrats.
yeah, with me and a colleague, we put together this combined grant
Mm-hmm.
to sort of talk about and develop materials to increase AC efficiency.
Oh, so
And
when do you figure out whether you win or not?
so the pitch is on Thursday. So this
Oh,
Thursday is
this Thursday. Oh, wow.
pitch,
Mm,
and I'm rehearsing the pitch with my colleague tomorrow
I
to
see.
try to convince him to give us a million francs, which would be kind of nice.
Yeah,
It's a little
that would be
starting
really
grant.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'll only be getting half of it, well, 40%
I
of
see. I
the
see.
grant because I'm doing only a part of the grant, and the other PI is doing a like larger part of it. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it'd be nice to get 400,000 francs. It's kind of a nice amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely. I also feel like, at least for the early stages for startup, is similar to. So the role is also similar. We apply for a lot of federal grants for small businesses, so there wouldn't be so much differences. So right now, just pitch the idea, get the money, and preferably non-dilutive, and so that you can
Yeah,
run a
yeah.
business.
So I'm trying to get some money, which should be kind of nice. But anyway, so that's some efforts on sustainability I've been working on to
Yeah,
try to.
best luck with that. And I also see from Twitter, you get the first PhD student from Beihang.
Two.
Two,
No,
wow.
no. So one is from Imperial and one is from Beihang Daoxue. So yeah,
Oh, that's
the-
great. Oh, so
yeah.
you're building your army now.
Then maybe it's a third one coming in September from. I don't know. I'm not sure it's quite in Chinese. It's Northwestern Polytechnic.
Oh, Northwest Polytechnic. I know that. So actually, that university is located in the same city as where I did my undergrad. It's Xi'an. So,
Oh,
so
yeah.
both Northern Polytech and Beihang, they're pretty good universities, but they have affiliations or connections with army. So that's also part of the reason it's really difficult for them to get positions in the U.S. They wouldn't get a visa either.
I know it's very tough. It's quite tough for some of these schools. They end up all going to Europe or mostly to Europe, to be honest.
I see. That
And they're
makes
really
sense.
good candidate. It's just really unfortunate that
Yeah.
because of
And by the way, I forgot to tell you that earlier this month, for 140 form was approved under EBNA. That's for the green card application. So right now, just
look at you.
waiting. Waiting
Elvis.
to.
Yeah, amazing. That's all right.
I really need to get that sorted out because my partner is also Chinese, and there's so many barriers. You have gone through this, right, in the US as a foreigner, so it's not very friendly.
There are barriers for sure, and
Oh,
I
and also, by the way, um, I have hobbies of writing op-eds. So
yes, you, yes,
so
you do.
yeah, I think we can do one potentially in the future as well. Because right now I actually have one recently accepted by Still Matter, a Cell Press, because I know the editor. So that is on how we can build a sustainability workforce, how to upscale that considering there's so much momentum going on. So how to do the workforce development. And also there's another article, the editor of Nature Climate Change has shown interest is how we can achieve equitable climate education. Because right now I actually spoke to the dean of Columbia Climate School, and also my co-author speak to the dean of Stanford Sustainability School, and we speak to them. Okay, you have these amazing schools built up, but how do you think this will help? Let's say some people living in Africa. How do you incorporate equity and the beginning of running the programs? So we get some good insights, and now we wrote a piece. We pitched to the editor. Editor likes that, so that's also.
This is why I say that you'll be okay. You're gonna have a good shot at faculty. Look at you have so much connections. You have a lot of initiative. That's fantastic.
But also I feel like I'm definitely not a typical applicant. So the typical applicant will just get pretty good papers. There's nature energy, but I just right now feel like I'm doing a lot of things which the other postdocs or even junior faculty they wouldn't be interested in, or they don't know how to do that. It's just something I have a genuine interest in pushing forward.
It's good. It's not a bad thing. You make it sound like it's not a good thing. It doesn't detract from your science. Long story short, I think you are great, Elvis, and this is a really cool initiative, and I think you do a lot of interesting things.
And I also hope, in addition to this scientific publication, we can maybe co-write something together because I have this experience of how to approach the editor, how to pitch the
That
outline.
that is something that I need to learn from you. You are the master because I wouldn't even think about doing these things. There's never in any of my like training to just like, go to an editor and pitch something. It's always like we write a paper and we submit. If we get rejected or accepted. That's it. So it's super interesting the way that you do. The people I've trained with go with a very traditional approach of the scientific papers, and I'm really coming around to the way that you're doing things. It's very interesting, and it's a bit daunting. It's a bit daunting because I'm not used to thinking about these things. It's like I would never have thought about, oh, let's write a paper about, oh, let's write an op-ed on climate equity. Just something that's like, oh, you can do that? I guess you can.
And surprisingly, the editors like that because they want.
Yeah, it's super cool because no one does. Very few people do these things, so that I can understand why that they like it.
And also I think it's helpful for your career as well because when I just pitch this idea to let's say the editor of Matter, because we have been working for I think 4 or 5 pieces in the past, and he trusts my writing. So and actually when he write back, he says, I really like this idea. So actually, you know what? For all of the previous submissions to the journal, they usually just come out as the most downloaded piece for their respective issues because and I think having that kind of relationship moving forward is going to be helpful for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely right. It's just getting to that stage. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I 100%.
Yeah, and also in addition to op-ed, so even for the research paper writing, from what I know, because I also get a co-advisor from Northwestern. So Ted Sargent group, before they send a full piece, they also just send the outline and the cover letter, explain just to pitch the editor. So actually, I think I shared with you a template. So that's why David Sinton, the collaborator of Ted Sargent. So they just present what they want to write and some figure ideas or some very early draft of the figure and just pitch to the editor, say whether it's something you're interested in. And depending on what they want, they can actually modify to tune this. They can so previously they were submitting for a perspective and it was published as a review article based on the feedback of the editor. So I think probably for you this is something going to be helpful as well in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it also helps that you're from Ted Sargent's group. That really opens a lot of doors.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
If you're writing with the backing of like Ted Sargent, that is like it's different from other people who are less famous.
This I know. I hope one day. I'm pretty sure you will become someone like that, Sargent, in a good way.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Anyway, I noticed you wrote on the document. So I have this bad habit of writing it all on my computer and not updating it. So yesterday I remembered to just copy and paste everything that I wrote onto
that's great. So do you want to share the screen or do I just share the screen?
I think you can share the screen. It's fine.
Yeah, I can just share the screen. I think you write a lot of good stuff. I just want to run a couple sentences with you, and then you can introduce what you wrote there.
Yeah. I mean, I basically took some ideas from the
previous outline.
The outline you shared with me, and also, and ChatGPT. I don't think I copy and pasted the ChatGPT thing. I think I wrote. It's like a.
Yeah.
I think I think copy and paste is what I wrote on my actual thing. I actually said that this is a really good outline. ChatGPT is going to come for our jobs.
Oh yeah, I just checked ChatGPT and I think ChatGPT is doing an amazing job and pretty much cover what we wanted to cover.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it actually like it covers most of the things pretty well, at least at a very high level, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, ChatGPT has been known for writing things is very good for lit searchers. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely
So
amazing.
I think it definitely lacks a kind of detail, just give some high level description, but it is helpful to
Oh yeah,
reframe something, I guess.
I mean,
Uh,
it covers, yeah. So basically, you can see what I wrote. I had a really rough outline about the introduction, yeah, about what I think would make sense, and I'm happy
mhm.
to discuss what you think about it. So that'd be great.
Sure. So I just wanted to check a few things and before we move
Yes.
into your outline. So first, I wanted to ask about, so since right now you're assistant professor, do you prefer to be listed as a corresponding or do you prefer to be listed as, let's say, co-first author? So what is your preference? And also, should we, because right now I'm still in a trainee position, so I think I
Yeah,
still
so
need,
I actually saw this and I was a little confused because my initial impression was just going to be like two of us writing
oh,
this. So I mean, so that's my initial impression was just
mhm.
me and a you, which is good and bad. Because bad because we are kind of nobodies. So you are at least you're known in the editor. At least people will know you're in this space. Especially for the editors, you're going to submit. You have a track record of submitting this sort of op-eds, perspectives, comments. So I think that's very helpful. I just wasn't sure because that was my impression. I'm fine if you have other authors on. I just didn't know what was the plan.
Okay, I see. I'm fine with either option. I just put this two here only in a scenario that you feel this is going to be helpful for the piece. Because for me, I definitely I'm not at the stage like Hatton or so in dual area capture space. I just want to see whether we need to add them to increase credibility or at least get an editor interested and send this out for peer review.
Yeah, so I think that is a legit concern. I do not know because I'm not familiar with your field, with this field very well. I'm not really sure.
Mhm.
I personally think that given that you mentioned as well, there's an open call for early career
Uh-huh.
researchers. I think it would be good to try with just the two of us, and
Mhm.
you can, it's up to you. I mean, we'll be both corresponding. You obviously first, or I know you can decide because you came up with this idea of writing this piece. So the sequence would just be like two of us. I'll let you decide whatever you want.
Okay, so
Right.
if
I
that's
do
the
not think we
case,
need
okay, so
the
if
other
that's the case,
authors.
we can just bring, if we need, so first, we probably don't need to add them. So I'm fine with the two of us being in author. And also, if we think that's going to be helpful, we can potentially just invite them to comment, to contribute, but not listing them as corresponding author. Would
I'm
that?
completely fine with that. I will defer to you. I think it'd be good for our careers to just have the both of us. If you want to add Ted Sargent or like Alan Hatton, fine. But
I
I
see.
feel like it will detract away from your contribution here because it would seem like, oh, this is initiated by Ted Sargent or Alan Hatton.
Oh, I see. I see. I totally
But
see what you mean here. And I'm fine with the two of us. We
I
can be co-first and co-corresponding, and we just ask them to comment if they are able to make some concrete contributions. We add them, but if not, that's not right.
and also honestly, I don't need to be co-first. You can be just first if you want. It's completely fine with me. I mean, it'll be cited the same anyway. It'll be Elvis, it'll be Chow and Eve because there's no NR anymore. So it's just good. But for your own, if you think it'll be helpful for you to just have first, I mean, this piece may not even be cited very much to be honest. It's really hard to tell. But I'm completely happy to. You can just be first without co-first. It's fine.
I think let's do co first since
Sure,
you
whatever. It doesn't
yeah
matter.
let's
To
do
me,
co first. I
I'm
am
completely.
yeah I really wanted to give you the
No.
yeah
Because
I think you
I mean,
deserve
as I
this.
said, I, 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 sometimes in some time people are like counting beans to like, oh, Elvis has how many first, how many co-first authors, blah blah blah. So whatever is good for your career, fine. I really have a faculty job, so I will be happy to help you.
Oh my gosh, that's yeah, you really get okay. But
Yeah, I'd be happy. So whatever is good for you, I will be happy.
sure,
You want me to
sure,
put first, whatever, fine.
sure. Let's okay. So I think let's just do both as co-corresponding, and you'll be listed as a senior corresponding. And for the other authors, at this point, no. And unless they make,
Fine.
yeah,
Okay.
let's
Yeah,
do
I
that.
mean, if at the end of the day, yeah, I will defer to you and your decision. If at the end of the day you feel that it's needed, I will respect your choice and go
Sure,
for it.
absolutely, because they don't have any contributions yet.
Yeah, actually also. So it's this. Yeah, I think we both align. So perfect. All right.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so let's just leave this
Journal.
out. Okay, and so for the target journal and article type, I just saw the interesting open call by PNAS. I'm not sure whether, because compared to Joe and Nature Energy, PNAS impact factor is not that great, but it's a pretty good journal, and it's dedicated for early career researchers. So that is here, but it is due very soon, due end of next month. That's the
So
concern.
I'm looking at my list of grants I have to finish in the next few weeks. One. Yeah, it could be a bit tight because I have 2 grants due at the start of May. So
Yeah, so that's what I'm
yeah,
thinking. So if we are not able or to make the timeline, that should be fine. We still have a couple better journals.
I mean, you also have a personal connection with the editors of Cell journals, right?
Cell journals, but mostly for Matter. For Joe, I have never worked with Joe because Joe is harder to get in. But I know.
Matter's a good journal too, no? Isn't it a good journal?
Yeah, Matter is a good journal, but it's not that established compared to Joe in the field of energy. It is. This should be so. Joe wants to compete with Nature Energy, and Matter wants to compete with Nature Materials. Has different focus. But I would say if we are fine of not if the PNS call we cannot make that, that's totally fine. We just try either the Joe or Matter, whatever the max is.
Joe has such a high impact factor. That's crazy. 46? No fucking way. That's insane.
Yeah, Nature Energy is actually higher. Nature Energy is over 60 if you check. I don't know how they get to this point.
67. Nature is 69. Wow, so Nature is just slightly better than Nature Energy. That's nuts.
But here's the sense. Nature is still better than Nature Energy, right?
Yeah, I would agree. But I mean, I'll be happy to try Joe first, and if they say no, we can try Matter and leverage some of their connections. That's fine, I need to.
Sure.
Or if you want to go to what's the other paper you said? Nature.
So we can do Joe. So if we do Joe, that is pretty straightforward. They have pre-submission inquiry. We just finalize what we have today, and it's fine that we don't have figures down. We just talk about figure ideas or table ideas, and then just come out with a cover letter with our outline. Send that to the email address. They will just get back in a few business days. Pretty straightforward. If you're interested, we can just be writing a commission piece. But for sure, this will still go through the peer review process. But at least we know this is something the editorial board is interesting from Joe. So and
does
also
Joe do double blind reviews?
I'm not sure. I don't think they do double blind, so the reviewers will be able to see the names and affiliation for the. You can double check.
Yeah, I'm looking at now. Oh, you can.
Oh.
Well, not for all journals. Not for all journals, but some of the Cell Press journals actually allow you to do double blind, which actually will be good for us.
Oh yeah, because we are nobody.
Exactly, which is actually good. Because for us, having double blind is good. For like senior faculty, is less good, but for us, it's like very good.
I see. So if that's the case, because both of the journals, Nature Energy or Joe, they both have the pre-submission. We just gather their interest. So depending on their interest, if the journal has double blind policy, we can just do that. I remember maybe Nature Energy has that double blind.
I'm looking at it now just to really check. Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah,
also need to check.
competing interest, diversity. Yeah.
Oh, I think Nature Energy does that. Okay, so I let me just send the link here. So this is what I
Oh,
found.
it's actually hilarious if we do that.
Oh, double blind. Yeah, that's
I don't think that Joe allows you to do double blind. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't think so.
so Joe doesn't have that, right?
Not to, I don't think so. Let me just look at what you posted. Nature.com energy.
So Nature Energy has that, but has a lot of requirements. Okay, I think they do have that. They offers double blind peer review.
Dude, that's actually gonna be fucking fire. If that was.
Oh, I never thought about this, but this is a really good point. Because if we decide to not include the senior authors, that's good. We just pretend to be the experts in the field.
I mean, I would say I'm an expert in like 3D printing, and I would say you're an expert in a carbon capture. So I don't think it's bad. And honestly, people have been talking a lot about getting better at double blind reviews because there's outside of science, there are a lot of humanities and social sciences. They actually do double blind as the standard.
Yeah.
Some of my friends who are in like education psychology, they're like, "Wait, you guys do single blind?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it's like, "Oh, that's like 10 years ago. That's what they like used to do. But now the standard in the field is double blind."
I see. So it's a field dependence, and I guess our
It's
field
very
right now
dependent.
is.
In many of the social sciences, it's double blind
I see.
all the time. So it's anyway. That's just a like funny aside.
So I think if that's the case, let's because I don't find Joe does that. Maybe Nature Energy would be the target we can try, right? Because has
I
this
think
policy.
you could definitely try. I mean, there's no harm. What I suspect will happen is we either get really lucky or they bump us down and we get to another journal. And that's also fine, right?
Yeah, that's also fine. Yeah.
Nature Energy, Joe, or like Matter, those are all like pretty decent journals. Obviously, you want to hire the like better, but I think it's still not a bad.
Okay, let's just do Nature Energy first, and I see they have the pre-submission system, so we can just upload the outline and the cover letter, and we can just move from there. They usually just do a
cover letter. But it's that's for the review is double blind, but for the
for the editor, for the editor. So do I think I just pretty much just cover what I wanted to discuss. So we just forget about the PNS call because it's too tight.
It's too early. But did some grants.
Yeah, so that's good. So we can just format our stuff based on Nature Energy's guidelines for perspective articles, because I think this will count as a perspective article. And I prefer perspective article over comment, because comment is more flexible and you can pretty much write anything, but perspective is peer reviewed for sure.
I mean, everything is peer reviewed, so I don't think that's bad.
Okay.
Cancel PNAS.
Okay, so PNAS wouldn't be able to get our article. Bad for them.
PNAS is honestly has a bit of a mixed reputation these days anyway. So.
Oh, this I don't know.
Because National Academy of Sciences members can submit they are entitled to 2 PNAS direct submissions every year, and that bypasses a desk reject.
I see. Okay.
So people find that PNAS sometimes they're really good stuff or really very average things, because people who are National Academy members who can't find a place to publish it, they just publish it there. So that's
okay.
So PNAS has a bit of a mixed reputation. It's sometimes very, very good, but sometimes people don't think it's that good.
I see. But the direct submission from non-members is usually good, right? That's really
correct. Good. Direct submissions are usually very good. And non-direct submission, sometimes the quality depends.
I see. So there's definitely some politics everywhere.
PNAS is a lot of politics.
Okay, let's just forget about PNAS. Don't affiliate our names with them forever.
Right, that's good.
Okay, that's good. So we are on the same page, and Should we? Let me just go ahead to share this again. Um, so
Yes.
I also included. So I think we talked about this briefly in the past, and this is related to the distribute manufacturing because right now there's confusion about this. And the
Mm-hmm.
others we don't cover, but I think that's fine. They have the nine over 1 billion funding for this, and right now we are actually applying for their advanced market commitment, and hopefully if because they invite us to apply for the sprint cycle, if we get that, they will give 500K for research and research and development, and
Wow.
with further collaboration opportunity. And I will keep you posted for sure. So this is something
You
that's going
should
on.
just all I ask is that remember me when you're famous. That's all I ask.
Oh my gosh, you're already an assistant professor. I'm still a trainee, you know.
Oh God, this are just titles. But remember me when you're famous, Elvis. That's all I ask.
Oh, that's so kind of you. But anyway, so I think what
Yes.
you wrote here is pretty good. I just added a bit here to say there's some. So when we talk about distributed manufacturing, we mentioned there's discussion in the dual area capture field over centralization versus distribution. And right now, we are actually the community is encouraging coexistence of both, and
Oh yeah, of
what
course. Yeah, that
yeah.
makes sense.
So just to give some prompts here, but I
Yeah,
think
I think there will be some things, which is why I just said in this section, I mean, as I listed out, there are some parts I think would be good for one of us to take the like lead more. It
mhm,
makes sense. Like it makes sense for me to write additive manufacturing. It makes sense for you to sort of set the stage about carbon capture on the introduction, because that honestly the most important. The setting the like stage is really key here.
mhm,
And you have the background, which I do not, about writing it well. So in terms of the use cases, I do think the
mhm,
part about distributed manufacturing, I think it will make more sense for you to actually write that bit and leave in areas for me to add in thoughts about 3D printing and its utility. Because really, I think the whole idea, as you mentioned, about centralization, all these are nuances I do not know,
mhm,
or I do not know well. But things that make sense, like fabrication of like materials, looking at
mhm,
the fluid dynamics, all these things, I can write a whole bunch about. That's pretty easy.
mhm,
Same as for optimization, I can pull in because that's sort of the expertise.
mhm,
But some areas, as I mentioned, I don't really know too much about, like introduction, even the conclusion. I think it'll make sense for you to write a conclusion because you know how to set the stage for where do we go from here,
mhm.
because you have that background. I would just say let's try to improve 3D printing because it's great.
I can definitely find some references from the DOE's report. They
Yes.
talk about the how advanced manufacturing, especially additive manufacturing, 3D printing, can help increase their efficiency and
Yes, yes, yes.
especially in a large scale application for
Did you
CCS.
see
Yeah.
that? Did you manage to take a like quick look at the like piece that I highlighted at the bottom about cement 3D printing? If you scroll
Oh,
down, I
so
think
the communication physics article.
the communication engineering article. Yes, yes, yes. I think that actually it's like a good sort of style. I think it's less technical, so this is much less technical.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they do have um,
So let's see.
the right sort of idea. So they do mention a whole bunch of things about looking at
Mm-hmm.
not only the science but also the politics and the landscape. So they mention. I think
Oh.
maybe let me share my screen instead
Oh,
because
sure. Yeah.
I actually highlighted some of it, so it's easier to.
Sure.
Let me just find this article. How do I zoom in? True share screen. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
you can see like they highlighted some stuff like here. You can see, they highlight some areas from the like government as well, which I think is very relevant for us because we actually have the new Chips Act takes place. You can see here they have DOD, they have Dubai, they have China,
Oh.
all the different sort of political
Mm-hmm.
governmental policies, which I think it's missing from a lot of perspectives because they just talk about the science of
I
hey, we need
see.
to do
I
this,
see.
this, and this. But I think you're hitting a really right spot. Look, there's also money involved, there's also government, there's also policy, and all these things are actually coming together really well.
Mm-hmm.
Make this important right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is I think it's a pretty balanced piece that balances some of the science, but also balances the policy aspect, which makes sense because these authors, this is the scientist and this is the policy person.
Oh, I see.
So
That's
both
great.
are,
That's
yeah,
great.
both are from Georgetown. So one is from physics, the
Uh-huh.
senior author, and one is from the international affairs program,
Mm.
right? So they
Oh,
sort of balance out policy
I see.
and science, which I think is a really, actually even the authors out there saying this is a really good piece because it goes beyond just the science.
I see.
Which I think what you can do in introduction is also have something, or in the conclusion also, mention all these things. Say, hey, look, this is important now, very timely because of all the stuff happening outside of science.
Mm-hmm. I see. Because this actually reminds me of there's a recent initiative by the National Science Foundation of the U.S. There's future manufacturing. They are calling for proposals. So definitely, I think this piece will will fit into some of that, and also this definitely relevant to a lot of DOE's goals to increase to upscale CCUS. So I can comment a lot from the policy and.
Yeah, absolutely, which is why I think it's such a good. And at the end, they actually have a beautiful table about a strategy
Mm-hmm.
and policy. So they talk about strategy and it's like a really good piece. I don't think I'm competent enough to reach this level because this involves like a lot of high level governmental insight into the landscape, which I'm not too familiar with. But I think maybe you can comment on the climate
Oh,
part.
so actually, in a book I'm editing, there's one chapter dedicated on summarizing the policy support for deep air capture in different countries, and I'm pretty sure I
That's
can find something from there. Mm.
Yeah, so it's a fantastic. But anyway, so the point of this, I found this article and I was like, I feel like this would be a really good a good style to sort of follow. So beyond just science,
Mm-hmm.
but also the the part that makes it run, i.e. the money.
Oh
to
yeah,
go put.
yeah, that's true.
Right. So anyway, I just wanted to like share this because I found this when I was trying to write this thing. I was like, oh wow, this is like a good thing. I'm not sure what you think about it, but I feel like it'd be nice if we had something similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't read the full text, but just had a quick glance. I think having the policy aspect into the piece to make sure this is not only just talking about science, but also a more important policy incentives and how this piece can support some discussion. That would be much better, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the introduction, in point D and E, I sort of made a note of like, I think we should really emphasize that AM for DAC has been.
Do you want to share the screen and then talk about that?
My screen is here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, means I got to move. Sorry, I'm looking at different monitors.
That's fine. So.
Yeah. So I sort of mentioned this here that I also everything's in black because it's I think it's very important. It'd be good introduction, which I've mentioned a few times already. Is like we really do want to emphasize that additive manufacturing has been discussed by very important stakeholders in carbon capture and utilization and storage, right? So government, industry, all these new funding schemes from different countries. So this is why we think it's very important to write this perspective right now because of the current landscape. So it's like timely to write this perspective. That's sort of the like key concept. It's very timely. Yeah. So anyway, so there's my sort of thoughts on this. It's like introduction. I think Elvis, you'll be great to write this part.
Sure.
I'm not sure about the graphic yet. This is something I'm still thinking about. I don't really know of a good how best to do it.
So,
but I had this.
So this I should definitely have the graphic about your capture to set up the stage. Maybe just having the big fans, so there's a good picture that everyone uses when they describe your capture so that people understand the context. And I also think because this is the first figure to give the audience some idea of what is going to be discussed in this perspective and a high level without revealing too much details. That would be a good balance. So could have a figure 1A as your capture and figure 1B talk about what is going to be talked about.
Yeah, I sort of thought about it as like why is this off? Okay. Something like I sort of thought it's like a good overall be like, show existing DAC concept devices and then show in the other panels like how 3D printing can be used. So maybe show there's some components that are rapidly made or have the actual, I basically put it into two different parts: support components, so components that they're not actually actively contacting the air. So this could be parts of the shell or parts of something. And then also something we can show like, but we could also make these DAC devices out of 3D by 3D printing them directly. So the active component. So there's like two different things, and then distributed manufacturing, and then some sort of way to show that this new 3D print devices have better properties. So I'm still trying to figure out what it's sort of like a lot of things to show, but that's sort of the rough concept is show DAC and then show how we can improve DAC with 3D printing in a few different ways.
And
so that is
so my first idea is to have an overview, but do you think that will be overlapping with what we have down there, or do you prefer to have something else? Because we will have separate figures describing the 3 user cases.
Yes. So I think an overview is also good, but I think we need to at least have in the first figure something that shows additive manufacturing and DAC. So at least when people look at the figure 1, like, okay, it's very clear this is DAC and 3D printing together. And it must have some sort of synergy, like, okay, I'm trying to draw something right now that does look stupid, like a direct air capture. You say they use these sort of giant fans, right?
So direct air capture, let me just, people usually just relate ClimateWorks direct air capture system, ClimateWorks DA direct air capture.
ClimateWorks?
ClimateWorks. So actually, the first figure.
Sure. Okay, I can see it now.
You can see now, right? So people usually just use that to refer to direct air capture. Oh, that's, by the way, in Switzerland as well.
Oh, shit. Damn.
Oh, and the unfortunately from the other institution, ETH.
We are one and the same. We are sister schools. So
that's good. Not competitors. That's good. So they are spin-off from ETH group, and they are actually the largest in the world right now.
Wow.
I think you need to probably speak to them or talk to them along the way if there's synergies. Because I definitely think maybe after we write the piece, or even before then, it would be helpful for you to forge relationship with them, either the research group there or the startup company, because they're actually doing pretty big. They have a lot of funding support, and also from Microsoft, and they have very big ambitions to upscale. So how to use additive manufacturing to upscale? This is definitely the considerations they will be having.
Great. So I'm trying to draw a schematic right now, but I was listening to what you were saying. So
sure, I look forward to seeing your drawing.
No. It's very embarrassing. I'm trying to. This is really bad, but I'm trying to just have the schematic in my mind just to. This is so awful. Okay, some shit like this. Yeah, It's probably easier if I stop sharing so you can see it. All right, so we have something like, okay, so it's something like this. So we have the original direct air capture. So this is figure 1A. And then we have a panel that goes to show, look, this is how we can have the 3D printed parts inside it to sort of increase efficiency or something. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, I see. So you have the existing system, and then
the existing, some schematic of the existing system. I'm just following ClimateWorks with the fans and whatever. And then we sort of show, look, there's potential for this part's to made of 3D printing, this part made of 3D printing, and then we maybe have some sort of graph that
have some zoomed in views.
Yeah. So it would be like a.
I think this is really smart actually. You have the current
So
systems. Oh,
yeah,
I
so
see.
some sort of like a, and then where's my thing? We zoom in and say, look, this is 3D printed,
I see.
and we show, look, this is the support part 3D printed, this is the sorbent part that's 3D
Mm-hmm,
printed,
mm-hmm.
and then we if we're bold, we can do some sort of like a, this is the performance and this is the increased performance in 3D printing or some sort of shit like that. But I think this is probably a bit too bold and people might think we're full of
Okay.
shit.
I think your idea here is great. So you have so maybe we also have zoom in views with the current system to show how they are made. Maybe list some, um, and then we can do a comparison. So say okay, we can shift from current practices and
Yeah, so
improve
we
the
show like,
performance. Yeah,
this is casting, this is
absolutely.
molding, whatever, then now we can do
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so I think that would be like an interesting concept to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, and actually, so your joint is not banned. It's, so after this, are you can you just take a picture, maybe just include in this, and I will just work on some descriptions about this in text, because I think this will be really compelling opening figure. It tells
Yeah, exactly.
yeah
So
tells some detailed
the
information, but oh this is good. I like this way of opening everything. So this is simple and it
topics.
tells the information. Do a comparison, figure
Yeah, so
1a,
it
figure
shows, look, this
1b.
is DAC, this is DAC, and then we show, look, this is DAC, but with 3D printed components.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, I like this.
I think this will really show the opening. Like
Yeah.
we're talking about opening DAC. So I just took a picture of this shitty sketch. I'll upload this onto the document.
Okay,
And we can,
that's great. I think this is good. So can you go on sharing the screen? We just want to go over the overall structure and everything, so then we understand
right.
what each person needs to do.
Yeah, can you see? Okay, so
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, so I can just take over the first part. So I will just lead this. It's not shitty. It's good.
I'm just gonna highlight this so that I don't forget.
Sure.
Forget.
Yeah. So I will write the first one.
How do I change it to not dark screen so it's easier to see? I don't know.
Oh, so you can so you can just click editing.
Okay.
If you want to open that with your Word, you can just use editing and then just open your with your Word.
Oh.
If you go
Okay.
no whatever whichever
Anyway,
is
so
fine. Okay.
yeah, so I would do this part, just
Uh-huh.
overview of what AM is. It's very straightforward. I have some figures, excuse me. The challenging thing is that I'll do I'll try to incorporate also current uses, because right now AM is used because there are basically 7 classes of AM techniques. And I think if I recall, for DAC, or attempts in the literature at least, they use like 5 different ones of them.
Oh, 5 already. Oh.
No, because I mean, to make every technique is good, usually each technique is good for one kind of material. So to make polymers, there are basically 2 or 3 different techniques that are known for it. To make metals, there's only 2 techniques. So people who make support structures use metals, so they have 2 techniques. And then people who make sorbents, they sometimes use the polymers. So then they have another 3 techniques. So there are quite a few different, and I think it's good to just have a discussion really briefly on what each of them are, just so.
Yeah, I think this is so. So the figure 2 have an overview. This is good, but I also agree if we can correlate each technology with specifics of their capture, that's even better. Because so that the audience know. For example, if you want to just print the devices and what of a certain material, what approach should they be looking for? Because before you talk about there are 7 categories, I have zero knowledge in which one works for what. So if I'm looking for a specific kind of solvent material, which one should work for my application. If let's say if I want to build my device of a ceramic material, what is the kind of anti-terror
Absolutely,
technique
yeah.
I should be using. So having that kind of um, join the relationship either in text or
Yeah,
just in the
absolutely.
figure
Yeah.
itself.
So that was the plan, is sort of to like give people a rough idea of, okay, I want to make a 10 centimeter size small structure
Mhm.
out of polymer. This is the technique. I make a like meter size of metal using this into that, so on.
Oh,
So yeah,
so actually, you know what? This reminds me of the article of 3D printing for software robotics by Rob Shepard's group, which is my girlfriend's advisor. So they actually published, it's a review article on Nature Review Materials. And I also saw recently Nature Review Materials, they also have the article type as perspectives. Um,
yeah.
so I'm just thinking this could be a potential outlet if Nature Energy doesn't like that. And Nature Real
Yeah, I
Materials is a
think
pretty good journal.
honestly, I think once we get this written, I'm pretty confident it'll be a pretty nice article. It's just a matter of who will want a bunch of no names to submit to their journal. Because I do think the more that I spend time on this and thinking about this and reading it, and I think once we get the figures out, it'll actually be a pretty nice piece, like a good primer. Like it'll be a really good introduction into 3D printing and its use cases for DAC, which is what we kind of want.
So, based on my experience of working with Nature Review materials, I just published a commentary last year, and they actually have their own in-house art editors to help you redraw the figures and everything, which will make things look super super good. And I don't know, I don't think Nature Energy does that. So this is just another
I mean,
consideration.
I think that once you get written, it'd be actually a pretty nice piece. And it'd be really funny if this is the first piece that comes out from my lab, because it's like nothing experimental. It's like a perspective piece. It'd be hilarious, but it'd be great.
Yeah, I think this will be speak to try to bridge the different communities. So yeah, so I think this is good. Figure
Right.
two.
So 2 is great.
Yep.
Then the use cases.
Yeah,
So
this
this one, I think it's part A is a very classic 3D printing piece. Part, so I think it's quite straightforward.
Yep.
There really is, unfortunately, really, I couldn't find much on like scientific academic literature. There are people like you mentioned at like Oak Ridge or whatever that are doing this sort of work. So I think I need to find a way to like cite them, because it's kind of hard to cite a PDF from the DOE.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
kind of tough. But I think this is fine. I think this is also okay. This one, I think it'd be best if you wrote this one, because
Sure.
I think I'm not too
Yeah,
familiar with this.
I
so I'm
can
gonna...
I can put some bullshit there. Distribute manufacturer. Yeah, I can do this. So do you think this is three? Use cases. I see. So this is just to go over what has been done, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like so use cases, but not only that, it's just like I think it's because the way I planned it, the way I thought about it was, okay, this is a use case for not only what has been done, but I guess what 3D printing would be good for. So like potential.
So what is the relationship between section 3 and section 4? Either I just
no, so I guess section 4 to me was sort of like, okay, let's start with this is what is used for so far, and these are the like, challenges that we're encountering. I mean, we can combine them, absolutely, it's fine. I just sort of split up easier to sort of discuss by just splitting it into...
Oh, I see. So pretty much this is like section 3 is the opportunities of AM for data capture. The next one is challenges of applying AM for data capture.
Yeah, kind of. So I think that's a good way to like piece together. I mean,
yeah, this is essentially a question I asked ChatGPT to write, summarize the opportunities and challenges.
Yeah, please for... Yeah, but I mean, there are already being there are real examples that are already being generated, right? So for example, we already have a bunch of literature on direct fabrication on solvent materials. Most are for CC carbon capture.
But I think that's similar. If the solvent materials, you can So for example, the morph materials, they can just shift application to the error capture.
Correct. But
Yeah.
I mean, that is true, but I guess it's not explicit, right? So I think most of the groups so far are just really focusing on carbon capture, but the materials are the same. Well, very similar, I think. Well, that's not true though, right? Because not all carbon capture materials can be used for direct capture, right? Because the
That's
efficiency is
true. That's true. But I would envision some of the materials they will fall into the same category. For example, polymers or others. And if you can 3D print one polymer material, maybe there's possibility to just print another polymer material for a different application. But definitely
yeah,
here we need to be specific and look
because
at what is
there
being done.
is like pretty nuance on like what is used for carbon capture in like flue gas and what is like for direct capture, right? So I think just want to be
that's true. The only difference is the concentration and also
correct.
the environment. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I think this is good.
Yeah, so that's that. So I mean, that's sort of my thoughts. If you think that this is, I mean, happy to hear your thoughts about this.
So actually, the first one, rapid device optimization. This is what you can write the NETL, the National Energy Technology. I think it's NETL, right? A laboratory. They are actually launching a national dual air capture test center, which will operate in June 2024. And one of the focuses is to do the rapid device optimization using 3D printing. This is what they are saying they are doing right now. So they do have CFD
yes.
to optimize.
This actually is perfect because what I was going to suggest is that for all these, at least these two parts, I can draw on a lot of experience from the academic world and also in other industries. But if you're able to add in parts about the landscape, so for example, this NATL DAC, I wouldn't know about this unless I dug really deep. So if you could just add in for each of these paragraphs or sections parts about the landscape, then I think it'd be really good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I can help with that because it's definitely relevant. And they have, I think, many millions of, I think 20, 40 million support to launch the center. It is ongoing progress. Hopefully next year, summer next year, they will be operational.
Yeah, so I think for each section, we just add in parts about the landscape. I think that would be super good.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, this is relevant. This is also where the money flows.
Yes. So I'll talk about the money, Elvis. All right, so that's that. The figure 3 I still need to think about, but this is quite a standard-ish 3D printing figure, so I think I can come up with some things that's doable. Challenges, all the challenges that I have so far are on the
can you go back to figure 3? So for figure 3 here, do you want to have 3 parts to comment on the A, B, and C?
3 panels or 3 figures?
I think 3 sub figures or whatever that works to talk about to cover the 3 aspects we want to cover here, right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely right.
At distributed manufacturing, we can presumably have imagery figure, I guess. So this.
I'm not sure how distributed manufacturing a figure will come out. I feel like.
So let me do a quick search. I actually saw there's the article Nature Reviews by our group, Hanton. So let me. So there's a new journal called Nature Reviews Methods Primers. Have you heard of this?
There's a new journal every goddamn day.
Yeah.
Everything.
So if you look at this specific.
Gonna share it? Okay, you have it.
Yeah, I just sent that. And I think they do have a figure 7 but this probably not directly relevant. But I think having some kind of
Oh, it's this journal is so new, EPFO doesn't have access to it. So I can't open it.
oh, okay. So let me share my screen. Wow, you know purchase that. Okay, that's good. It's pretty new. They haven't released their impact factor yet. But I think for figure, how do I make? Let me just download this. Oh, oops.
You don't have it too.
But I have this. I have this article. That's funny. MIT doesn't buy that either. That's
Yeah, I
funny.
mean, MIT honestly has less journal access than EPFL. I have access to so many journals right now. It's insane
I see.
compared to what MIT does.
So this is what I think will probably be relevant, but I'm not sure. I just immediately thought about this. Haven't this is just some
Oh,
illustration.
wow. Okay, I see. So have it
Illustration.
like
Yeah.
many parts of it everywhere, like many small reactors.
Yeah. So this is my vision will be, but I'm not sure about. But anyway, so this journal, similar to other Nature Reviewers journal, they will just draw the figures for you. Just have the idea very early draft. They will draw them for you. But I think this is just want to tell, okay, compared to the centralized systems, how the distributed system will work using the illustrations. But I'm not sure how to do that. I just immediately
Yeah,
thought about
distributed
this.
manufacturing is kind of a. I'm trying to look at some examples, and it's honestly
Not
not
examples.
many examples on distributed manufacturing, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be really cool to have illustration to show distributed manufacturing concept.
Yeah, it's we were to workshop that.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, so let me just go back to my screen. All right, so
Yeah, we need to think about what is the figure for distributed manufacturing. But I think in early stage to pitch to the editor, we just talk about we want to have a figure here describing this distributed manufacturing. And we have. Oh,
right.
also I wanted to mention that for deep air capture, this is a general term. There's different technologies for deep air capture. The traditional liquid solvent and solid solvent based, they might not be easy to shift to distributed manufacturing, but for the modular systems such as electrochemical based approaches or the moisture swim based approaches for the air capture, their device size are modular, so they can be applicable for distributed manufacturing. So I think maybe for this we can show a couple of the emerging modular technologies for the air capture and put them in a distributed setting, because not all the air capture works for a distributed setting. That's actually one of the biggest reason the Climbingworks is a very huge plant. But depending on the nature of the technology itself, some they're really applicable for distribute uses.
Yeah, understand. See, this is why it's the best if you wrote this section because you know about all
Yeah,
these.
I will write about this section. Yeah,
so this I think makes more sense.
Sure.
All right, so we can move on.
Yep.
So the challenges I put are mostly on the technical side. I'm not sure if there's like policy side or
and finance and policy.
Yeah, so that one I'm not too familiar with.
So probably we have a D just in addition to A, B, and C, just write a D as challenges in financing and policy, and then Elvis will look into this.
Yeah, okay. Oops. Shoot, sorry. Oops. Yeah, I think that's that would be good because that's, I think, it's good to.
Yeah, it's always good to think beyond technology development.
Yes, so like where does it fit in with the current landscape? Like, if we don't hit certain goals, then you won't get funding, blah, blah, blah. I think that's like great. So I talked about this and then the roadmap.
Oh, the roadmap. One, okay.
That's what I sort of thought about. I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but I sort of took some inspiration from that concrete piece where they talk about the roadmap for the future. Yeah, this I don't know. I'm not. I feel like I feel like this is a piece where you probably take the lead. This part, if you do it, is you take the lead and I'll fill in parts on 3D printing that are relevant, the technical part or the landscape part. But for the field of DAC itself, I don't think I want to write this because I don't know much about the roadmap. I just
Yeah,
started.
the roadmap. This is challenging. This looks like this is being written by a very senior professor and try to say, oh, this field needs to do X, Y, and Z. But I kind of like the way
I mean,
you approach
this
this.
this is a proposed outline. If you don't think it's good, we can remove it. I'm completely fine with it. I really, this was like a big picture. You know, this would be nice.
Yeah.
You need a piece of a roadmap.
I actually like this. So depending on how much depth we can get, we can either call this a roadmap or outlook, just to be a bit modest.
Yeah, fair.
Or just moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah, fair. I think roadmap's a bit ambitious, but you know, I just went with that.
And also, since here we also want to point out some potential opportunities, would you think it'd be relevant to also talk about the integration of ML and AI into AM for data capture? Because there Grace, I think Grace from Berkeley, you know her?
Grace Gu, yeah,
Yeah.
I do know Grace. Yeah.
I think she published a review paper on Matter talking about integration
Yeah,
of ML.
she really is into the whole machine learning. She and Keith Brown from Boston University, they're sort of like pretty well known about machine learning.
I see. I see.
And
Yeah.
some guys from SND as well. But anyway, integrating ML and AI.
It's really pretty. Potentially it would be helpful. And
Because I sort of did mention a little bit here about computer vision. This is what people are using a little bit right now.
I see. Computer vision. I see.
Yeah, they use it for quality control.
Oh, and also I wanted to ask you whether you are familiar with quantum computing. So
I've heard of it, but I do not know enough about it to be.
I know nothing either, but I one of the colleagues of mine is actually trying to lobby the DOE to open some funding opportunities for quantum computing and also quantum sensing for CCUS, carbon capture, utilization, and sequestration. I heard the Department of Energy's there's Office of Science has shown some interest in this. So
is that going to be relevant to this piece and AM?
So quantum computing will facilitate the sovereign development. If that's the only reference I can think of to how to develop better materials for the air capture applications and then use. But maybe that's not that relevant. I just think just to come to my mind. And quantum seems pretty early stage. Quantum computing is pretty early stage right now.
Yeah, I would
maybe just
I
remove
would be a
this.
little bit cautious about this because
It's easy to get a lot of attacks from everyone.
yeah, it's people will they you have to be careful in knowing because quantum computing is only good for some situations, not for all situations. I do not know enough about whether or not.
I don't know either. I just come to my mind.
I potentially will put a bit of a question mark here and say
sure.
I will be a bit cautious here.
Sure, absolutely. And also regarding the part C, analysis of distributed manufacturing, I actually wanted to see whether we can think beyond technology to talk about the life cycle assessment and also the techno-economic analysis to know the environmental benefits and the cost estimation. So
great. So that's yeah. I was tempted to write that, but I don't know anything about it. So I was like, oh, I don't know how to do a techno-economic analysis or a life cycle analysis. So I was like, do you know how to do it? Because I don't.
So in again, in the book I'm editing, one chapter is on techno-economic analysis for data capture. The other chapter is life cycle analysis for data capture. And this is just right now I know for the DOE, fossil energy and carbon management department, for every proposal related to CCUS, they will ask this mandatory part evaluating the LC and TA because they want to see that in order to give you the money.
Yeah, because I know of these. I know these have been written about in bits and pieces, but I don't know anything about it.
I don't know either. I just have a general knowledge. I know there's something the funding body will look at these sections to evaluate the proposals. So
I'm just gonna say
naively, this will,
Elvis.
yeah. I will write this. Yeah, so I will write this one.
This one I can give a perspective.
Yeah.
This part, Elvis, square control. I mean, this will be quite short as well, I think. So we're gonna just. I think all things related to technical 3D printing, I can definitely write about. This one, I'm going to put a question mark because I don't know anything much about this.
I don't know either. I just saw the random article by Grace and I didn't read that. I just, this is an interesting combination. But
I mean, Grace does, that is Grace's entire research. It's about that.
I see. All right. So we have, how many figures do we have? Five.
And there's including remarks, which I think can go into the roadmap.
Overall assessment. So overall assessment actually here, we will talk about the TA, LC. This will make sense to put here.
Would I put this? Okay. Yeah, so I think, overall assessment, I sort of put this like hey, this would be, so that's my proposed outline.
And highlight news. I think this is great. So we have so if we go back to the figures, just want to so we have ideas for figure 1, 2, and 3, right?
4 I need to think about.
Challenges. Maybe we can have a table listing the challenges. Because illustrations can be either table or figure. Maybe table. So I will say maybe the current. So one thing I can think of is maybe some printing will require a certain precision, and the current methods is not able to achieve that. This I'm not sure. I'm just creating something from there.
I mean, you're exact. It's written here.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's great. I just
you're an expert in 3D printing now.
No, I know that's about 3D printing, and also there will be some stability issue because I know, for example, morph materials is an emerging area people are using for their air capture, but morph couldn't stand a long time operation. Stability is not good. Will 3D printing be able, 3D printed materials be better in that aspect or not? I'm not sure. Maybe this could be. Anyway, this is just some random thoughts. Stability.
Actually, we'll go to opportunities here, which is enhanced performance. I'm just going to make a quick note so I don't remember. Okay, where are we? Yeah, here. So table. I think a table could work too. I think a table could be possible. I generally like to have figures instead of tables because I think they're much more beautiful. But depends how much time that I have. I may not be able to come up with a figure.
I also prefer figures, but if figures cannot convey the message, let's just don't.
Awesome. I could understand.
Roadmap.
I put a figure here, but I'm not sure if this is even needed. But I will defer to you on that because the roadmap or outlook. I mean, I feel like if we do a table, then this will combine with. It'll basically end up looking like. End up looking kind of like this, right? So we have a table and we show these are the areas, these are the challenges, these are the solutions.
Oh, okay. So we can somehow combine this one
4 and 5.
into the previous section. These are the challenges,
Correct.
but these are the opportunities.
So it'd be like challenges and then potential solutions
I
in the
see.
role.
Oh, this
So I
sounds
think we could do that way. That's one way of doing it.
uh-huh.
Uh,
But it's just too much text. No one wants to read.
it'll basically be just this will basically be just a table version of what's in the text here.
I
Right.
see. I see. I see.
This is what these tables are. They're just text of what's in the discussion. So
Maybe at the moment, we can say we can do this. We can just include, say, we want to have a table for the different areas, talk about the challenges and also potential solutions, so that we can send them to the editor. And because they are, and when we write when they are interested in the piece, when we write the full piece, we think about better ways of solving this. Because it's up to us to decide what's going to be in a final version. Yeah, table is easier. but I agree. I don't like tables. I don't want to read tables.
okay, yeah. So I think that's that. And then concluding remarks. I think this would be the best. Would be you have some. Yeah, I think you probably have some good ideas about this. Some perspectives. Yeah, and I think that's more or less the outline that I came up with.
So, do we need a figure for this or not?
I don't think so, because this is basically the conclusion. So
I
don't
see.
think this. I feel like this will also, whatever we write here will also be substituted, will be tangential to what's here anyway, right?
I
It's the outlook.
see, yeah. Because I
I feel
see
like-
5 and 6, there's some overlapping there, right?
They are quite similar. So 6, I believe, will be relatively short.
Okay.
I think this is essentially kind of like a discussion section.
I see. Yeah, discussion and then final conclusion, summarize in a high level of what we discussed.
Correct. So I mean, this is basically what I've written here is that it's basically a summary, right? So a new strategy, rapid printing.
I see. I think that this makes a lot of sense. I really like what you have here, and I think. So final question. Regarding timeline, and so right now, I think the only action item at the moment is to generate a cover letter, which we have some previous templates. We just and have the clean version of the outline with figure or table ideas without drawing anything, and we just send that.
You don't think it's worth just trying to sketch out some of the drawings just to? I feel like if we can get a nice render of figure 1, it will give us a really nice idea of what we're trying to do.
Having figures is definitely better. So I guess if we are not in a hurry to submit, we can have all the figures, even early draft for the figures into the outline and then send them, because the editor is easier to see our vision.
I would defer to not rushing it and try to get the best chance of getting it positively looked at by an editor at NetN or.
I agree. We are on the same page. So if we are approaching that way, we're definitely not in a great hurry. But what would be the timeline that's reasonable for both of us?
I would say it would be good if we can submit this within. This is going to sound really shitty, but within a month or within like 3 weeks would be kind of nice, because I'm traveling a bunch as well, so that's kind of annoying. But this would be a good time to do it because I'm not teaching. Next time would be like I'm teaching a shit ton. Well, not shit ton, but more than I would like. So I think if we can get some, I'm going to try and get some figures made. I think for me, making the figures nice is going to be priority number 1. Like making the nice figures. Yeah. It'll take a couple of weeks just to get, or a week of just sitting down and concept. So we can get something. Let's try and touch base. Oh shit! Good Friday, the 10th of April. How's that sound?
Okay, the end of April, right? I
No,
think.
10th of
Oh,
April.
10th of April. Okay, so
Just to check in on the figures. We want to make sure we have nice
so
figures, everything.
who is gonna be making which figure? Should we decide that now as well?
Yeah, that'd be great. So, um, these are kind of tough figures. I feel like a lot of the, yeah, I don't know actually. I feel like I'll make a draft of figure one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you already have a draft. Yeah, it looks like right now it's
I'm doing
also
a lot of figures, yeah.
yeah, you make a lot of figures.
Right.
So
So
that's the it's a professor's
if
role,
you're
right?
able, sorry.
So doesn't surprise me because you're the professor, right?
Oh no. Um,
Okay, figure one. Figure
I can
two
do
also looks like I know nothing
figure
about
two.
AM.
Yeah. So this will be me.
Oh my God, I'm
I
sorry.
already have a bunch of these made already, so I can just copy those. That's pretty fine.
Uh-huh.
Figure
So I
figure
will do
three.
figure three. So what is what do I need to do for figure three? I definitely need to
Definitely
do a figure.
do distribute. If you can come up with a good concept for distributed manufacturing, that
Ah,
will be
yeah.
money.
So I will think about the distribute manufacturing figure. I will look at the specific technologies that are ideal for distribute manufacturing for the area capture and have the illustrations to somehow show that. I will
Yeah,
try to
if
do
you're
that.
able to do, yeah, 4 and 5 would be
Just
maybe do a table at least for 5. If we do want to do a figure for 5, that would be like a really good with the. Yeah, I don't know how to do 5 as well actually.
I think we talk about for figure four and five, we can just
Just a
combine to make
table.
a table.
All
If
right, then we just
yeah.
if you I guess you can make the like table. That'd be nice. That was it. That'll be yeah. I'll make some of the like figures, and I guess in the meantime you can sort of clean up some of the like text, especially the look at this carbon emissions are bad.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and also if you go to figure three here, I will focus on the distribute manufacturing part of the figure. Do you also want to add something to talk about rapid device optimization and fabrication of a solvent material figure? Do we have the three panels or
I'm not I'm not sure how to do B. I think A we can probably come up. What the heck's? I think A we can come up with some idea here. I need to think about it. Yeah, I need to think about how to do a schematic of this because I think most of the time people will show some sort of, at least for this, it's very easy to sort of draw examples from the literature and say, hey, let's look at this paper and we show this increased performance.
mm-hmm.
I said overall schematic, that's not always
So
easy.
I would say maybe for figure B here, you can draw examples from literature and that. Let's say this is a figure 3B. And for figure 3A, I would say instead of having a figure, maybe have an the workflow by the so I remember from NETL they have the workflow from designing and having safety simulation and having the printed device and test that under
Wait,
climate
let me still
relevant
put
conditions.
Elvis.
Oh yeah, I will do that. Yeah, I will do that. So
These literature figures. Okay, this I can find. So there'll be some literature figures,
mm-hmm.
and then we see.
Seriously, I will think about some ideas. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. Okay, I think we have more or less everything at this point, right?
Yeah, so we pretty much have everything. And for the figure four, for the table four, we can temporarily just using table four to summarize section four and five if we don't come out with better ideas.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, I will work on. I'll spend some on 1, 2. I mean, yeah, 1 and 2 I think are the big ones, especially 1. One we need to.
Yeah, should be really appealing. And I think you can just use the ClimateWorks example because everyone uses ClimateWorks the air capture system whenever you refer to the air capture.
Okay, so I will use that little big box fan and okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Just
but
gonna
yeah. So for that, I can send you. I think I sent to you the IEA's DAC report in the past, but I can send that to you again. That in that report, they actually have some pretty nice illustrations of two major approaches for the error capture. Um, and I believe the solid solvent they are drawing examples from ClimateWorks. But you can see what is inside. It's not only the fans, what is inside there. They also show that.
I'm just going to insert the picture right now from this device.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. Where's my desktop? Ta-da! Shitty.
Yeah. So
now we put things in tables so that it's easy to.
So let me put you the send you the link. If you click the link, I believe it's in chapter. No, let me go to them. So list of figures. If you go to page 22, click the link, go to page 22. That will show you what is inside for two.
Where's page 22? Oh, you send me the.
I just send you the link in the chat box.
PDF.
And go to page 22.
Oh yeah, you're looking at it now. Yeah, page 22. What page is this? 10.
Yeah. So here, this is the figure. This is the figure to show the two major approaches for the error capture: solid solvent and liquid solvent based approaches. This view, because in the previous ClimateWorks figure, you can only see what is outside, but inside it's works. So this is working principle. It talks about the collector, the contactor. I don't think you need to cover liquid DAC, because liquid DAC is by carbon engineering is a different approach. You just focus on solid DAC. This one, the top one, solid solvent based error capture. This is what ClimateWorks is using.
The solid solvents, okay. So they are like, for example, MOFs or polymers or.
Yeah, MOFs are something they are exploring right now.
The liquid ones are like those amines or those sort of things, amine based. Carbon capture, not really that. Yes. I will just read this part once again. So
you would just read this again and just focus on solid solvent approach, and that should be sufficient, because at this point you don't need to cover all your error capture approaches. Just have, because the figure you're having right now is based on solid solvent, and so it makes sense to look a bit into the solid solvent approach. And the error capture system is not only the fans. The fans are just a way to get the air. There's also something inside. So you need to look at what is inside.
Is it ClimateWorks? ClimateWorks.
No, ClimateWorks.
ClimateCool is on Adidas. Different one. Okay.
Yeah, ClimateWorks.
All right. Great. This sounds good.
Yeah. So what time do we meet again next time?
On the 10th right now.
The 10th, I think I'm widely open on the 10th. Should we do same time or whichever work for you?
Let me just try and remember the 10th. Where am I? Because I split my time between two campuses.
Oh, so you have two campuses. That's great.
Yeah, because my lab is on the main campus. So Lausanne is the main campus, and my lab's in Neuchâtel is a different campus.
I see.
So just double check where I ended.
Yeah, but I'm wide open for that day. Nothing's been scheduled so far.
Yes, but it will impact the timing I can have it. Okay, 10th I'm here. Yeah, 10th we can have the same time. So let's say 3 o'clock. Sorry, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Okay, sure. I will just send a kind of invitation for the 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on April the 10th. And before that meeting, let's just try to get that action items done, and then we can discuss. We can move from there. Yeah,
Sounds
that's
good.
great. I think we this is going to be a very interesting piece, right? Yeah.
Great. How is your book coming along? Is it done? Finishing?
Not surprisingly, I get a lot of requests from sub chapters to postpone. So I have so right now I the updated delivery date is April 1st, which is on Fool's Day. I'm not sure if you deliver that either. So I still need to work along with the 10 chapter authors. I do get 5 completed chapters, but I still need to gather more.
So 30% of them got it in.
Yeah, I would say 30%, and I'm not sure this will be on time. But hopefully, if I decide to apply for the next round for my faculty, this will be on time. That's all I need.
Great. Well, awesome. Well,
All right.
Elvis, thanks for chatting. It was nice to chat again.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
congrats.
Best luck with everything. I look forward to catch up, and especially best luck for the proposal, and hopefully you get that one meeting.
Fingers crossed.
All
All
right.
right. Take care.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.
Bye, Elvis.